Shara bitachon, chick chak. Moray Rabotai, a couple minutes. Bitachon is very, very important. We spoke yesterday, Divanu Etmol, regarding the tests that God give us. Rabbeinu, people want English. People want in English. I'll do it in English. הטעם שמחמתו חייב השם את האדם מתעסק בסיבות הפרנסה ויתר על צרכיו נחלק לשתיים. Why? People ask, why do I have to toil and deal every single day with parnasa? Break my head every day trying to find this, that. Rabbeinu Bechaye says there's two reasons to it. The first reason, לבחון את האדם. לבחון את האדם means to test a person. And he breaks it down to, you can say, particles, to understand exactly what does that mean to test a person. Then he gives another detail. Who's the chokhmah that we're talking about over here? Who's the chokhmah that obligated you? Chokhmat elokut. And on top of that, ratzon elokim, the will of God. לבחון את נפש בעולם הזה במשמעת ובמרי. To test the person in what to do and what not to do. Now, when do you test a person to do or not to do? When do you test him? When does the stuff actually come into place? לפיכך, בחן אותה במה שיתגלה את זה. Basically, he puts him in stuff that you could test somebody. If I give you if someone has all the money in the world, he has a tree that takes out diamonds and dollars. He's not. Someone has tree with no worries, everything. So can I test you with parnasa? I can't test you with parnasa. Why? Because it's simple. It's easy. You don't need to do it. You sit home. You have this tree that you put water on it. You pay water bills. Then your tree gives you money. You pay.
Take water from the sitting.
Now. והוא הצורך והזקיקות של האדם למה שהוא מחוצה לה. מאוכל, משקה, מלבוש, ומדור, ותשמיש. So he says over here that there's different levels of things that someone can be tested by. Which is not his physical body, outside of it. Stuff that his body needs, necessary stuff. Food, clothing, drink. Basically, what you're saying over here is in different words. Drink, eat, your clothing, and we're not talking about and the vessels that you need in the house, the objects. Let's say your car, you need a car, you need an oven to make food. All these different details. לפיכך ציווה עליה על הנפש להתעסק בגורמים מגוונים להשיג על זה סיבות האמצעים המיועדים להם באופן שמותרים בהלכה בזמנים יהודים. So he says he brings it. Sometimes the person has different. God's testing him in stuff that makes sense. That means, to put this in perspective, someone that does not have any worries of parnasa, doesn't care about parnasa, or he knows it's for him, he doesn't need to do it. Why? Because he has this tree that has that brings out gold and money. I'm not worried. It's not my worries. That's not what I'm afraid of. But someone that his life depends on it and he needs it, that he cannot go without it. With that, God can test him, right? If your livelihood depends on my yes or no, you're gonna think twice before you speak to me, right? You're gonna think 3 times because you don't want to say the wrong thing. If you tell your boss the wrong thing, it could be he's gonna take off from your paycheck, or not add on your paycheck anything. Every small detail of here every detail of here could tip the scale, and that's why we are stuck with this whole toiling with parnasa, looking for parnasa, because over there God can test you if you're really to Him. If you're here for me. Why? Because if you were really for me, you could work right now on Shabbat. Chas v'shalom. Someone says, it makes sense. If I make more money, if I work more days, I work more hours, I make more money. 1 + 1 = 2. But over here, it doesn't work like that in Judaism. Ritzon Hashem, the will of God, already decided before how much you're getting. From between Rosh Hashanah and Rosh Hashanah Rabbah, you already have a decision on how much you're making, how much you're getting. If you want to work more hours and sit in the office longer, it's your problem. That's it. Also, Chutz mit Tishrei. What's Chutz mit Tishrei? What is this beautiful line that people say? Tishrei is an abbreviation of Torah. Taf is Torah. Shin is Shabbat. Resh is Rosh Chodesh. And Yod is Yom Tov. Other things that it doesn't matter the money you're going to spend on those days. It's not part of the money that God promised you in the beginning of the year. So you can go all out. Don't be cheap. Not on Chagim, not on Rosh Chodesh, not on Torah. To try to support as much Torah as possible. So, like we're saying over here, that when someone has a leash around your neck and certain things, with this he could test you. And he brings another example over here. האדם זקוק לאוכל כדי להתקיים, הצורך במזון הטבוע בו, אך הבחירה בידיו אם להקפיד על אכילת אוכל כשר ומהודר בלבד או לא. Someone could say, not kosher food is cheaper. So now when God says you could only eat kosher food, He's testing you also over here. Because right now God's telling you only kosher food. Now you say, but this restaurant is cheaper. Or I have to drive 20 minutes in order to get a place with Chalak Bet Yosef, a good kashrut. Or it's a vegan and I don't want to go to a regular restaurant, I want to go to vegan. Why? You know how much protein there's in vegan? In the vegan restaurant, you know how much protein you get? From the bugs inside, from the bugs inside the lettuce. That's the protein. When someone says, I'm not going to waste my time, I'm not going to waste my gas, drive 20 minutes to a kosher Chalak Bet Yosef restaurant. I'm going to eat right now. I'm right over here, there's a vegan restaurant right next to me. There's a restaurant, it's not the best kashrut, not the best, it sometimes has kashrut, I don't know what even that means, it's not kasher, but it's cheaper. I don't know all these ads for McDonald's, how much? $4. You go to a regular meal in a regular place, you pay $10, $12 in a kosher place. It's a test. Over here, that's what the test that He gives you. Right now, it's in your hands to decide. Do you want to spend the time, the gas, the money to go there to eat the kosher? Or, I'm right over here, it's easy. Right after you eat it, don't come after, it was on purpose. It wasn't a mistake. Oh, I was starving, I didn't eat for 3 days. Your stomach was growling, you were hungry, you had a little tava, and you went straight for it, you didn't hold yourself back. You're going to be held accountable for this. And that's another test. If God wouldn't care about kosher food, God wouldn't care about Shabbat or Yom Tov not to work. I heard a story from Mordechai Eliyahu. It's very, very beautiful. We'll end off with this story. This story is unbelievable. He had 2 years, for 2 years, there was a person next to sit next to him. Sit next to him in the shiur and the halakha on Shabbat. He used to do a shiur halakha on Shabbat. It was always to a person sit next to him. Someone came over to Mordechai Eliyahu and told him, how could you respect this person? Let this person sit next to you. It's respect sit next to the great rabbi. How could you let him sit next to you? He's like, what's the problem? He's a Jew. He tells him, I saw him drive on Yom Tov. I saw him drive on Shavuot to the kotel. He put the car on the side, he went to the kotel, went back with the car. So I have to fix it, to figure this out. So he spoke in the shiur regarding ochel nefesh. And Yom Tov, that ochel nefesh, whatever a person needs, it all depends from what stage is allowed. But you cannot say I'm driving a car ochel nefesh. With this, it permits you to drive. So he said in a way, people think you could drive a car. After the shiur halakha, this person comes to Mordechai Eliyahu. I'm sitting 2 years in your shiur halakha. Now, one time you didn't say that you can't drive in a car on Yom Tov. Is the rabbi supposed to know what you're thinking? It's very, very beautiful. Like, no one told me you're not supposed to. On Shabbat you can't cook. On Yom Tov you could cook. Shabbat you can't drive. On Yom Tov maybe you also can't drive. He didn't think even of asking. He just drove the car on Yom Tov. Over here we come that if you have a question, ask the question. Don't figure stuff out and do hekeshim and all the different interpretations halakha within yourself.